YouTube is great. I mean, there's a ton of good stuff out there on YouTube. There's some quality pieces. There's also a lot of garbage.
Right.
So take it with a grain of salt. Watch, and if you
Except this channel. In this two-part episode of Ranges, Backstops, and Berms, we are checking out a hardworking instructor in the Pacific Northwest while he gets several groups of new shooters off to a good start. In part 2, you get an answer to this question.
You teach an axe throwing class?
And if you enjoy the content, make sure you smash the like button and smoothly press the subscribe button. About a half hour southeast of Portland, Oregon, on Route 224, you come to a small town called Eagle Creek, and that is where we meet up with Ben Edman of fundamentalshooting.com. I saw Ben teach several of his signature courses. Part 1 of this series is spent focusing on the classroom course, which is titled Introduction to Firearms Ownership.
We had a situation where people were coming up to me and saying, hey, the world's gone crazy, I need to buy a gun, where do I start? And so I thought that would make a great class.
And create the course he did. Ben's 4-hour classroom-only Intro to Firearms Ownership course covers safety, different types of guns in use, ammunition selection, and more.
As far as the class goes, I was really impressed, not only your body of knowledge and the amount of information that you were able to push out, but your delivery was very comfortable. It wasn't like overly techy. It takes a lot of patience to start from ground level and get people up to kind of a crawl or a walk. And I thought you did a really good job at that.
Ben and I then discussed the general use of firearms as students become more proficient with them.
understand that there's a difference between competition, there's a difference between training, and there's a difference between just going to the range and having a good time. So, if you're going to go to the range and just shoot with grandkids or the neighbors or any of those things, man, no problem. I mean, there's
cans, water jugs, done safely. It's fun, man.
Number one reason people use a gun is entertainment. So go out and have a good time. You want to give them enough confidence that they can feel good about what they're doing. They don't need to be terrified of it, but they need to have a healthy respect for it. It's our responsibility to have training. It's our responsibility to learn how to use it.
Reasonably competent with the tools you decide. You don't have to know how to shoot all guns everywhere, and I think you would agree with this. You just have to know how to shoot the guns you've decided to defend yourself with to have in your home. What sort of encouragement would you give them to take that first step if it might be a little scary or kind of outside their comfort zone, to go sit with a bunch of other people who have guns, and you don't see yourself maybe as a gun person, but now you are because you own a firearm? What's the encouragement to go out and get your first initial training? In-person training is what we're trying to encourage folks to do. So what's your pitch? What's your pitch to those folks who are on the fence?
The reality is we all had our first shots at some point in time. At some point in time, somebody put a gun in our hands for the very first time, and none of us started off as John Wick. And
most of us are still not John Wick.
And most of us still aren't John Wick. But one reason people buy a gun, personal defense. You will never regret a moment of time that you spent training, education, learning, to get you to that point where you can use that firearm for self-defense.
Agreed. Ben Edman, fundamentalshooting.com. Check them out. And don't forget to watch part 2 of this episode, where we cover fundamentalshooting.com's introductory range course called First Shots. We will also answer this burning question.
You teach an axe throwing class?
All right here on Ranges, Backstops, and Berms.